Hi, my name's Annabelle, and you're not watching Disney Channel because the fact that I'm complaining about this story on YouTube means that I was unsuccessful. Hello users of the internet and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're one of my current 315 subscribers, then welcome back, and if you're not, now's the time to change that. Once again, I am low-key running out of video ideas, so I thought that now was the perfect time to rehash my past and talk about some life stories. If you have watched any of my videos in the past or are familiar with me in real life, you may know that I am interested in acting and musical theatre and all that jazz. And I'm currently unemployed and attempting to pursue that professionally. So in my attempt to do that, at the end of last year, I was on the line looking for any audition opportunities, and while I was doing that, I saw this ad pop up saying, "Does your child want to be on Disney Channel?" So I decided to take it upon myself to be my own parent and sign myself up for this random program because do I have a soul and a beating heart? Yes, I want to be on Disney Channel. Then a few days later they called me. I was told to go to the ballroom of some hotel at a date and a time, and I had myself an audition with who I thought were Disney Channel. Now Disney are very family oriented, so it was compulsory to come with both of your parents. So I dragged my mum and dad along and stood in a line for what turned out to be about 2 hours. When I got there, I looked around at all of the other children in the line and worked out that everyone else was about 12 years old and I was technically an adult. So I felt kind of out of place, but I was like, you know what? I've got in the car, I've come with my parents this far, I'm just gonna see how this turns out. Then they gave everyone numbers to stick onto their clothing, like a real, honest to God, cattle call audition. It was great. I hate individuality anyway. And then we were all seated, like about a room of 300 of us. Then walks out this man in a full-on suit with a microphone, robotically uttering an obviously pre-rehearsed monologue. He would speak in an incredibly monotone voice like this, like he had reading and learning difficulties. But he didn't. That was just the intonation that he chose to use. I could also straight out see the total difference between the American and Australian culture because he was taking everything he was saying incredibly seriously. And all of these Australians were just looking at him like, who is this guy? What are you doing in our homeland? Go away. He said that the company that he worked for, called Premiere, weren't actually affiliated with Disney Channel, but they held these auditioned a bunch of kids, put them through different rounds, and then at the end you could pay to go overseas to Disneyland in LA and potentially meet agents that may or may not sign you and may or may not get you a gig on Disney Channel. But you know, he said it outright, so it's not like it was a scam or anything, though they weren't exactly forthcoming with this information in their online ad. He then stressed that he didn't care what your religion was, and I was like, that is nice. Separation between church and state, it's nice that he's acknowledging that. But then he was like, but you must, absolutely must, believe in God to be a part of the Premiere program. Honestly, I don't really know what kind of prerequisite that is. I thought that as long as I wasn't an avid Satan worshipper, I would be family friendly enough for Disney Channel, but whatever, enforce these beliefs on me, it's all good. I can love Jesus for the next hour and a half. So I was nodding along and pretending to be actively listening like a good little fake Christian, acting like he was some kind of messiah, because that's what I do. I'm an actor. But my parents weren't as into keeping up appearances, if you will. They were leaning over and whispering about how much of a lol it was, and I was like, true. I didn't say it, but I was indicating with my eyes. And then the guy speaking randomly got incredibly annoyed and said, if you parents cannot keep quiet, you need to get out now. You are demonstrating rude behavior in front of these children. And then all at once, I saw my Disney dreams dashed. I was living the not-so-sweet life. I was a part of the not-so-proud family. I was Sunny, without a chance. Uneven Stevens. Kim, impossible. That's so not Raven. Bad luck, Charlie. Until I realised he was actually talking about some other random family in the back row, and that my parents' discreet whispering was just that. It still could be the start of something new. I should cut it out with the Disney references. The next phase in the talk was that he showed us a clip of Rowan Blanchard from Girl Meets World lip syncing to Blank Space by Taylor Swift, and he was using this as an example of how talented she was and how she exuded star quality, and that this was the epitome of what they were looking for at Premiere. And I was like, she's literally just standing there mouthing to words, but okay. Then he went on to talk about acting technique and acting training, and I was like, I should be good, I've done a bit of training, but then he followed that up by saying, we do not want this, we're just looking for personality. And I was like, cool, never mind. We were then all given little slips of paper that we were obviously going to have to read in some form or other later on. So I flipped mine over and went to the girls 16 or over section, which obviously no one else would be reading from because everyone in the room was 12. They were from the current hit Disney show Bunked. I mean, no shade to Bunked, but out of context, this little selection of dialogue was questionable, to say the least. And yes, I have these excerpts of dialogue here with me today. The character Ravi, who all boys 16 and over were asked to portray, said the line, "Where is Emma?" And then the character Lou, who all girls 16 and over were asked to portray, responded with, "She went to the spot with Xander." Then Ravi asked, "You mean she is already gone?" To which Lou replied with, "Oh, she's long gone. Just like this turkey leg's gonna be." Look, I don't know, maybe actors from Disney are faced with this kind of dialogue on the regular, but I knew, personally for me, that this was going to be an acting challenge. But I really had no choice to come to terms with it, because then a bunch of us were all called into the next room, where the guy who had just been talking to us had sat down with two very special Disney guests, all of whom were going to be our audition panel. As soon as I walked into the room, I could see all of the 12-year-olds begin to absolutely freak out, because sitting at the table was Peyton Meyer from Girl Meets World and some other random girl who I'd never seen before in my life. Hysterics everywhere. Look, I'm not gonna lie, I low-key sometimes absolutely 100% watch some of the new Disney Channel shows in my free time, most of which are absolutely terrible, but I do kind of like Girl Meets World because it's a spin-off from Boy Meets World and it kind of deals with important social issues. So I was aware that in front of me was sitting Lucas Fryer. But obviously I didn't let on that I knew who he was, because I was 18, and what self-respecting 18-year-old watches Disney Channel in their free time? You know what I mean? The guy who was talking to us before had a complete personality transplant and kept changing accents and, dare I say it, making jokes. He then started calling people's numbers and then revealed that he would be their scene partner and reading opposite them. Except instead of trying to make the 12-year-olds feel at ease during this confronting, intense audition process, he deliberately tried to throw them off. As I said, he kept changing accents, he'd whip out a different hat and totally transform into a different character. At one point, I'm pretty sure he started like full on, just like clucking like a chicken. It was a lot. And he'd obviously prepped Peyton Meyer and this random Disney Channel star who I'd never heard of to not smile. So they were just sitting there deadpan while this middle-aged man acted like manic poultry. So yeah, he called my number, I got up, he called me a giant child, and then just started intimidatingly stalking towards me. I said my terrible dialogue, and then I sat back down. I tried to deliver my lines with as much sass and as little mockery as I could, but honestly, I had no idea how I went. And then he picked a handful of people to go through to the next round, and lo and behold, I was actually one of them. So obviously I was a pretty damn believable turkey leg devourer. But when we went home, my mum and dad and I chose to, surprise, surprise, not take him up on the offer, because we didn't really want to spend $2,000 to go to LA to maybe, potentially, get the opportunity to be in the same vicinity as agents. So basically that's the story of how I kind of sort of auditioned for Disney Channel. If you've also auditioned for Premiere or took interest in my long-winded, slightly clickbaity tale, then thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye! No one should be judged for wanting to live out their childhood dream in adulthood.